Hey, Uncle Mark.
Yes, sir.
Take cover.
Yes,
Shots
sir.
fired. Shots fired.
They're coming down from the north. My dearest Martha.
Life on the war front has been so difficult.
I'm feeling very close to the Civil War today. I feel it.
Yeah, well,
It's kind of it's a big hobby of mine. I love to think about it and talk about it. And
I like to do it, but I like when I do my reenactments, I make sure I have jingle bells on all of on my uniform.
yeah.
Well, I'd like to talk about a seasonally appropriate war.
Yes. It's good to have the right war for the right season.
That's right. Well, dear uncles, the smell of gingerbread is in the air. The halls are all fully decked with balls. The sleigh bells are a ring tingling, and I am in a bad mood. That can only mean one thing. It's Christmas time. However, before you get too drunk on wassail and lurk creepily beneath the mistletoe, I must remind you that this is also a season of war, and you may find yourself over the holidays, Christmas, having to argue over this war.
Thank you.
Its merits, its true cost, and its actual existence with your religious relatives, because today we are taking on the war on Christmas.
Skun-dun-dun.
Back in episode 65, we discussed how to atheist, and that we as atheists are free to celebrate Christmas, Hanukkah, Ramadan, or any other religious holiday we choose out of nostalgia, respect, or for any other reason, or not. It's entirely up to you. However, well, you can both attest that I love me some Thanksgiving. I personally am not much of a fan of Christmas.
Rude.
Why? Neither of you asked? Well, I'll tell you. As we'll discuss, placing the birth of Christ in the same week as the pagan solstice holiday was a pretty sloppy and ham-fisted way of reeling in pagans, which actually worked. The mere fact that there even was an actual Jesus upon which Christianity is centered is far from certain, and will likely never be truly known. Even less knowable, then, is his date of birth. So, it was not until 336 that the Romans fixed his birthday to the winter solstice. So, if it's arbitrary anyway, does it have to be in December? I'll grant you Jesus' existence and even the need to celebrate his birthday, but why can't we do it in April or May? Must we put ourselves through this self-imposed flagellation in one of the coldest months and the one with the shortest days? Because of the cold, your car always breaks down in December, your heating bills go up, at least for our Northern Hemisphere listeners, the sun sets around 4:30 p.m., and I don't know about you guys, but my circadian rhythm is attached directly to my drinking arm, so it's a vicious cycle. Toss on to that the extended time with your conservative religious relatives in the Trump era, crass consumerism, having to have saccharine music crammed down your throat over and over from the day after Thanksgiving on.
I lost Whamageddon the other day.
Whamageddon. And be subjected to a birth story not even true to its fictitious source material, see episode 13, and now you know why I don't like Christmas.
Yeah.
All that being said, if we have to do it, can we please move it? December is a month to put your head down, talk to as few people as possible, and grind it out. But no. Christmas is fucking everywhere. The streets are lined with pine boughs, Christmas lights festoon my entire neighborhood, my grocery store is mostly wrapping paper, and there is an unsolicited Christmas tree in my fucking office. It's a tough time of year for me. Yeah. So, given my attitude and reality, imagine my annual surprise to hear religious conservatives bleat on every year about the war on Christmas. Now, as we'll discuss, the idea of the war on Christmas is very, very dumb. But
yes.
if there were said war, my fellow secular commandos, we are losing.
What?
Back on October 26th of this year, that's one full week before Halloween, there was already a Christmas aisle in my local department store. So, this is like the scene in The Two Towers where Theoden has completely lost Helm's Deep and says to Aragorn, "What can men do against such reckless hate?" So, before we ride out one last time into the sea of Christmas elves ramming the gate, let's dig into the war on Christmas, where it comes from and why, and like a Palestinian carpenter, it just won't die. So, we've delved into countless conspiracy theories on this show, from Hollow Earth back in episode 52 to Spaceship Moon in episode 89, from QAnon in episode 102 to the Georgia Guidestones in episode 85. And if there's one thing we've learned about in those journeys, it's that pretty much every conspiracy theory ends in
The Jews.
The Jews. So, you'll find it refreshing that today's conspiracy does not end with the Jews.
Bullshit.
It starts with the Jews. It pretty much stays with them the whole time. It was, of course, the Jews who started this whole mess in the first place by deftly manipulating the occupying Romans into arresting Jesus, trying him, whipping him, and crucifying him.
Yes.
That's just how deep the conspiracy goes.
Right. Yeah, that was never the Jews, but okay.
So the first known reference to the war on Christmas was in 1921.
What?
With this quote, "Last Christmas, people had a hard time finding Christmas cards that indicated in any way that Christmas commemorated someone's birth." End quote. So given the year, 1921, and the already acknowledged anti-Semitism intrinsic to this conspiracy, any guesses who might have said that?
Father Coughlin.
No.
Henry Ford.
Henry Ford.
Oh, yeah, of course. Duh. I'm sorry, I got my anti-Semites mixed up.
It's an easy mistake to make. Don't worry about it.
It was a good guess, though. In the 1920s, good old Henry Ford published a series of pamphlets with the enigmatic title, "The International Jew, the World's Foremost Problem."
Yeah.
What could he be trying to say? So
He was so cagey about it.
Yeah.
among the many crimes that Ford accused Jews of was a conspiracy to abolish Christmas. Like many conspiracies, there is a teeny tiny kernel of truth upon which Ford was building his tower of bullshit. In the 1910s, a group of Jewish leaders did challenge the teaching of Christianity in public schools, including the reading of the Christmas story and the display of nativity scenes on school grounds. This was enough for Ford's evil mind to see a vast conspiracy to utterly destroy Christmas and gouge it out of our lives and department stores. The fact that the leading department stores at the time were Levy's, Isaac's, Goldstein's, and Silverman's, who would be losing out on that Christmas income, did nothing to dissuade Ford.
Yeah.
In the 1950s, the far-right John Birch Society decided to get in on the action, writing yet another pamphlet with the title, "There Goes Christmas?" Among a ton of random shit was this gem, quote, "What they now want to put," they is obviously the Jews, "what they now want to put over on the American people is simply this. Department stores throughout the country are to utilize UN symbols and emblems as Christmas decorations."
Oh, wow, the globalism,
Okay.
the globalist conspiracy started earlier than I knew.
Right.
That's amazing.
That is amazing. So now the actual term, "the war on Christmas," was apparently coined by a conservative author named Peter Brimlow in 1995 in an article titled "Alien Nation, Common Sense About America's Immigration Disaster," which Stephen Miller reads as he chokes himself. So Brimlow launched a website in 1999 called vdare.com, which is a reference to Virginia Dare.
I know what it is. Can I say?
Yeah.
The believed to be the first white person born in the New World.
That's correct. You
Yeah.
got it.
Yep.
So that's who this motherfucker is.
Yeah.
The site would publish compilations of quote-unquote attacks on Christmas that were basically overblown anecdotes of people or businesses saying Happy Holidays instead of Merry Christmas. So let's talk about that for a second. At the very least, there are two major holidays that take place in the last week of the calendar year, Christmas and New Year's. Saying Happy Holidays instead of Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year has, at least for me, been nothing more than a time saver. As an avowed atheist, I have never, not even once, said Happy Holidays with the intention of negating Christmas.
Yes.
But that's just me.
Well, you're
But
not.
clearly
You're
you need
doing
to
it
say,
wrong.
Happy St. Michael's Miss and St. Thomas's Eve and Happy Boxing Day, of course, and Happy Christmas Eve, then, of course, Christmas morning and Christmas distinctively happy those. Right? You just have to
Do I
say
have
all
to
of
sound
them.
like Peter O'Toole while I do it?
I like
Yeah.
it.
That was more James Mason, but whatever. Yeah.
So anywho, this leads us to 2004 and the modern version of the War on Christmas. This was the first time that Fox News host, sexy crime novel writer, falafel enthusiast, and world's fourth creepiest boner haver, Bill O'Reilly, took up the cause with this salvo, quote, "Secular progressives, Jews, realize that America as it is now will never approve of gay marriage, partial birth abortion, euthanasia, legalized drugs, income redistribution through taxation, and many other progressive visions because of religious opposition. But if the secularists, Jews, can destroy religion in the public arena, the brave new progressive world is a possibility. That's what happened in Canada." Mark, are you okay? Is everything all right up
let
there?
me tell you guys, it's like Thunder Road out here. It's
I'm sorry, Mark. It's Thunder Dome and Fury Road.
it's like Fury Dome here to Canada. Well, it gets to Canada later, so sometimes the titles are a mess.
They changed the titles, eh?
Sorry. Okay, so now we're off to the races. 1 year later, fellow Fox News asshole John Gibson wrote the book The War on Christmas: How the Liberal Plot to Ban the Sacred Christmas Holiday is Worse Than You Thought. Okay. O'Reilly started calling for boycotts of businesses like Sears, Kmart, Kohl's, Target, Walmart, and Costco because of perceived animosity towards Christmas.
Amazing.
Yes,
Soon the American
retailers hate Christmas.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And it was because they would have tchotchkes that said Happy Holidays on them.
Yeah.
Right.
Or
It's literally just, it's not because they did anything against Christmas. It's because they included other holidays.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Soon the American Family Association and the Catholic League joined in, and these boycotts bore fruit. Like, retailers had to make their staff say, don't say Happy Holidays or we're going to fucking go under. So in 2016, Fox News finally had enough of Bill O'Reilly and his increasingly expensive boner, and ousted him to the sad and pathetic world of podcasting. But the war on Christmas lives on in the addled minds.
Fate worse than death.
Yeah, it's pretty bad.
The war lives on in the addled minds of aging conservatives to this day.
Well, it's not just aging. Some of them are like, suburban Karens.
Sure.
Yes.
You might have even heard our current president, when not lamenting the number of times he has to flush what must be truly catastrophic bowel movements, bragging about how people are finally saying Merry Christmas again just because he's in the White House.
Yeah.
Just to be clear, although Christians are prohibited from reading the Bible in schools or placing nativity scenes on city properties, there has never been a law passed in this country banning anyone from celebrating Christmas, with one exception.
Oh.
The only time there was a law passed that actually banned Christmas was in 1659.
Yeah.
And it was passed by the
Puritans.
See episode
Yeah.
61. So the law was it was as follows, quote, for preventing disorders arising in several places within this jurisdiction, by reason of some still observing such festivals as were superstitiously kept in other countries to the great dishonor of God and offense of others, it is therefore ordered by this court and the authority thereof, that whosoever shall be found observing any such day as Christmas or the like, either by forbearing of labor, feasting, or any other way, upon such accountants as aforesaid, every person so offending shall pay, of every such offense, 5 shillings.
Wow.
Yeah.
How dare you forbear labor?
So, but because nobody plays the victim more than a Christian with absolute power, we are probably doomed to endure this war for the rest of our lives.
Well, it's what's the best part about the war on Christmas is that the only people firing are them.
Exactly.
Like, and it wasn't always the case. Like, in fairness, atheists have all and people of other minority religion traditions have fought to try and keep fucking
Yes.
Christmas decorations from out of the state house or out of the whatever.
In the same way that these motherfuckers would fight to keep Ramadan out of the fucking state house.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
Although I can say that in the war on Christmas, we have won a few battles, including this year in, I believe, Iowa, where there was, in order to try and make it so that they could have Christmas decorations up, they decided to do a lottery where 8 different groups of any religious tradition.
Oh, I like where this is going.
Could participate and put up their own display, and then it's chosen by lottery. 7 of the 8 this year are atheist organizations within the state of Iowa.
That's hilarious.
That is awesome.
So that's a big fail for them. And then in other states, that like Satanists have gotten their stuff in stuff. So.
Well, I'm with you, Dan. I say if we have to endure hearing about the war on Christmas, we might as well fight it. So I am encouraging all of you, dear listeners, to join me in waging an all-out war on Christmas by stealing one ornament off your family's Christmas tree every year until there are no more. Send me these ornaments. I will write your family a ransom note. If they pay the ransom, they can have it back. If not, I will execute the ornament in the manner I see fit. I am not worried about committing fake war crimes in this fake war.
The collateral damage. Just think of the tinsel.
All gave some gave all. You know, it's,
So that's your war on Christmas right there.
The entirety of the war on Christmas is these days is just, hey, that store's doing slightly less Christmas than they did last year. Get them!
I know, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, it's December is Christmas.
Yeah.
Well,
You're winning, guys.
yeah. Well, I got news for you. August through December is Christmas
For real.
So
Yeah.
I think we can declare them handily the winners.
Yeah. And congratulations, guys. You won. Yay. Okay. Yay.
Hey, war's over. Stop
Yeah.
having the war. Are you
mad
guys
about
still having
something
the
else.
war? Why are you still having the war?
Well, they're still having the fucking Civil War, so I guess it makes sense.
That's true.
God, that is true.
All right. Well, with our unconditional surrender, let's move on.